Hi, Ange.
Hello.
Firstly, many congratulations to you and your staff. Third Premier League Manager of the Month award. I have to start on quite a week in terms of injuries and suspensions. Can I get specific analysis, if possible, on Mickey van der Ven and James Maddison? There's latest reports that his ankle injury is quite a bit worse than first feared.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of time to enjoy the moment, do we? I'm glad you put it in there, but let's just get on to the real stuff. No, that's all good. Look, obviously, fair to say there was a fair bit sort of happened after Monday night. So, if I can go through them. Mickey, obviously, with a hamstring injury, which we kind of knew was fairly significant. So, he'll probably a couple of months for him, looking into the new year. Matters, a lot worse than we thought. Obviously, again, he came off with the ankle injury, but next day wasn't great, so we sent him off for a scan. So again, not great for him. So again, probably into the new year for him. Richie had the operation, which again we kind of scheduled anyway because Richie's kind of been battling with it from day one, and with the international break coming up, we thought it was a good time to sort of get it done. He should only be, if everything goes well, a month, so not too long after the international break. They're the main ones. Obviously, we've got a couple of suspensions as well. And I think and Ben Davis is back and available. And I think everyone else is okay. Pedro's fine. No, he trained, no problem.
That's obviously really bad news for Mickey and James. January is looming then, and I know we've spoken before about it's a smallish squad, and potentially with Davidson to moving on to Galatasaray might have been a bit short. Will there be discussions then to try and do some activity early in the January window because of these injuries?
Look, nothing really. My focus right now is we've still got a fair few games between now and January, and that's where my attention's got to be. The planning in terms of January has been in the works for a while. As I said last week, Johan's in the building now. That's his kind of area. He's getting his department together. He'll get all the information, and we just got to keep working to the plan we started with. I've said right at the start, we've only had one window trying to build a team. It was never going to happen in that one window. So we've got a plan, whether that's January, whether that's the summer or beyond, and we'll work through that. But right now, what's important to me is we've got still a significant amount of games between now and January, and we want to make sure we're performing at a good level.
It's quite a memorable game Monday. I all the 30 odd years I've been to White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I've ever seen a full house when you've just lost at home to one of your big rivals. That says a lot. Is that a message to the players that are going to have greater responsibility now coming in? Everyone's got to pull together, and it's kind of an example of what you've actually been saying for the last few weeks. There's going to be some downs here as well as the ups. Yeah,
look, it was like I said, it was an unusual night, Monday night, but I think from our perspective, as I said after the game, it was hard to analyse, but we still had to analyse the game, and sort of our analysis was when it was first 20 minutes, I thought we were outstanding, probably the best we've played all year. Obviously there was a couple of moments in there, then we lost our discipline, which kind of turned the game on its head in terms of just, there was so much happening and so much not happening in terms of just playing football. It disrupted us. And then we went down to 10 men. And again, I thought we coped not too bad. Obviously, down to 9 men. And I think the message in the end was that, I think, as you said, the supporters appreciated the efforts of the players, which is important. I think that the players felt that because ultimately, I think that's what every supporter wants, that they see their players out there, the people representing their football club giving their all, but disappointed with the outcome because it was a game that, like I said, we started really well and was well within our grasp to come out on top. So there's lessons in that as well. So, but it's just another opportunity for us to grow, as a group, as a football club, as a team.
Charlie.
Hi, Ange. Just one on Mickey. I mean, how has he been emotionally and mentally since Monday? Because he's had such a great start to life at Tottenham, and knowing that he's sustained that injury and will be out for the next couple of months, how has he taken it?
Yeah, I guess like all of them, any footballer, that's probably their biggest fear is that, and it's always the possibility of injury sort of disrupting, their careers, and he was obviously disappointed, but now it's about rehab and making sure that use this time to get strong and come back better than ever. And he's got good support in the building in terms of the medical team, sports science staff, and knowing Mickey and already the time I spent with him, he'll leave no stone unturned to make sure he comes back bigger and better.
How much of a loss will he be for yourself in the way that you want to play, given the attributes that he does have?
Yeah, look, it's they're all the absences are kind of have an effect on the team. I guess the unusual one for us, and again, I not many times in my career, if any, where we have such a disruption for one game. We've lost sort of almost 4 or 5 starters in one game. That's where 3 of our back 4. So that's where we kind of get affected more than anything else. I think if it was just Mickey, and obviously you'd miss him because of the qualities he has, as you said, it wouldn't disrupt us as much. But we've got to bring in 3 different players in the back 4, and that's the big challenge for us.
You mentioned all the absentees for tomorrow's game. I mean, there was a lot of talk after the game on Monday about the way that you want to play, even when you're down to 9 men. Given Wolves' front line, Hwang in form, Cunha as well, is there a temptation on your part to change the way that you play just for this one game?
Yeah, there's always the temptation, but apart from chocolate, I'm pretty good at not giving in to temptations.
What's the message been then to the players? Like, is it, have you said, there's an opportunity for people to come in and prove themselves?
Yeah, look, I'm not one that kind of just reacts off sort of the short-term stuff. Ultimately, we've tried to keep it as a normal week. Like I said, it is an extreme situation when you have so much sort of fallout from one game. But ultimately, it's about sort of preparing a team for this week. You can't sort of look too far beyond that because, as I've already seen, every game in the Premier League is a challenge, and Wolves is going to be a hell of a challenge for us. So, I think I don't want to sort of, veer away from kind of what our focus has been all along. Is every week we try and prepare and be ready for the next challenge. And even though it's unusual circumstance, that's what we've tried to do this week.
Do you sense then that the players do want to rally around and kind of lift themselves after this? Because it is a big disappointment losing key players, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. But, I don't think it would take that for them to rally around. They do it every day. I mean, that's, ultimately that's what you want. You want them every day sort of wanting to give their all, give their best. They don't need extra motivation. So, we're aware that obviously we're going to have to make some changes for tomorrow, but the guys who will come in have been training hard to understand how we want to play, and will come in and give everything they can to try and make us successful. I mean, the tricky part for us, and I know people have kind of said it's an advantage that we haven't been in Europe or in the Cups, but if we had been, some of these guys would have had game time. That's the tricky bit. A lot of them are going to come in and haven't had a lot of game time, and that's where, from our perspective, because again, we can't afford any more injuries. Just got to be really careful about sort of, the kind of game time we give people.
And just looking back at Chelsea, have you been able to watch it, rewatching it? Does it make any more sense, or is it one of those games you look at and like, this is just carnage?
Yeah, no, it does. Like I said, I mean, you kind of, when you take the emotion out of it, and I looked at it, like I said, the first 20 minutes I thought we were outstanding. I thought some of our football and, we really started on the tempo, and then, like I said, there was a 6 or 7 minute spell where we just lost our sort of composure, and we kind of paid a price for that. And the rest of the game, it was difficult because, as I said, after the game, it seemed to be a lot of sort of outside intervention, which didn't really make it sort of a game where you sit back and analyse and you go, okay, we could have done this, could have done that different. It was just a lot of, like I said, a lot of unnecessary disruption in a game that, in the end, you just really, all you're doing is having 2 teams fight for a result rather than anything more than that.
Hi, Ange. Apologies in advance for asking a VAR question, but it's a slightly different one. It's more to do with injuries. I was just wondering, I'm not saying injuries that you've currently got because of that. But is there a chance that the amount of stoppages in play now, the amount of time that players are waiting around, could it lead to more muscle injuries and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to draw a sort of direct correlation to Mickey's injury, but I was half tempted to throw some balls out there for him to have a kick around. I mean, it's a reason we have warm-ups. But if you're going at a game and then the fact that there was only 47 minutes of game time the other night in 100 and whatever it was, 10. I mean, that's not ideal for the kind of athletes we have out there. So it is a concern.
I was going to ask about Giovanni Lo Celso as well. Back on the summer tour, I remember you kind of really praising him and talking about how you wanted to keep him here. Is it for moments like now when Gio can kind of come to the fore?
Look, it's Gio. It's Brian Gill. It's we've got to be careful with Bentancur a bit, but it's for him. It's for Skippy. It's for Eric Dyer. It's for all these guys. That's why they've been training hard. They've been training with us. They haven't been training separate from the group. Everything we've done together, and they've worked hard. And for all of them, it's about being prepared for when your opportunity comes, and fair to say that the opportunity comes now for a few of them, and it's up to them now to take that opportunity. But they've been preparing themselves for that, from the first day.
Often when you have so many players out at a club, there's it kind of makes you not forces you, but makes you look at the academy and the younger players that may be involved in training. Is there any young players in particular in this last week or so that you've kind of really got to have a closer look at and come into your thinking?
No, not really, because again, that would be me being negligent. In the past, I'm always aware of kind of, a real close link with Simon Davies and the, academy program, and constantly, whether it's reviewing their games or getting information, we know which of the young lads are progressing. So, this situation doesn't make any difference in terms of, our attention to them. But again, fair to say that with the numbers we've got, one or two of them could get an opportunity to be part of the first team setup, which, again, for them is an opportunity.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. We'll move on to the embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Tom?